friends to a podcast that's been described as
emotional
and
terrifying.
One guy even said it was
So awesome it will shock you to the core.
finally another podcast about Godzilla and all his giant monster friends.
This could be the end of civilization.
Yeah, probably. So join your hosts, KES and Slick.
Ladies and gentlemen,
You're listening to the podcast. From Odo Island. Podcast from Odo Island. Follow us on Twitter at Odo Island Pod. I'm KES, and with me as always is the hat retirer, Slick.
Oh, yeah. So that's a little inside baseball, but I've been wearing the same hat for literally 14 to 15 years, and I'm replacing it with a very similar looking hat tomorrow. I had a good run. But you can also find us in Godzilla Battle Line at Odo Island Podcasts, because the T doesn't fit. So it's Odo Island Podcasts instead of podcast.
Podcasts.
Now, you really can't search for anybody by name. I guess I could kind of post like my friend code, and you could set the private game with me. But yeah, I mean, if you come across me on Godzilla Battle Line, there I am. Odo Island Podcast, that's me.
I do not have a Godzilla Battle Line account because I'm busy doing anything else.
It's you know what? I've become very addicted to it. I almost had a thought going. I was like right behind like Godzilla Saves the Earth or whatever, just the Pipeworks games in general. I go, this might literally be the second best Godzilla game. If you count those three, it's like a collection.
Yeah, a collection.
Now it's like, this literally might be the second best Godzilla video game. A far cry from what I thought 4 months ago when I first started playing it. It's become oddly addictive.
You remind me of there's an episode of 30 Rock where Tracy makes a porn video game, and like Frank comes out of his office. He's like clean shaven when he goes in, and then he comes out. He's got a full beard. He's like, played your game. It's pretty good, I guess. And then Tracy's like, Frank, you've been in the office for 3 months. He's like, what?
I am not too proud to admit that I actually did spend money on the game this month. I bought the $5 Godzilla Pass, which just kind of gets you more. Well, you haven't played it, so how could I describe it? Like, essentially, things you need to upgrade stuff, it gets you like more of it in a short period of time. It's only $5, and I did it once.
So you're paying to win.
I'm not paying to win. I just did it once. Listen, Fire Rodan was the new piece they released this month, and I was like, I should probably get that.
Did you call Rodan a liar? That was the Simpsons joke.
That's fired. Oh, it's much worse.
No, I said you're fired. That's cool. Yeah, you can spend money however you want.
I just did it once.
I'm not against spending money on video games. Like, it's a free game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it feels like a slippery slope. Is the difference?
Yeah, I understand, but you're a responsible adult. You can spend your money however you want.
Am I? I mean, my history with casinos. Am I a responsible adult?
All I know is we had your bachelor party at a casino, and you were in bed before I was.
With my wallet stuffed with chips. But anyway.
I was the one who kept Paul locked in the bathroom, by the way.
Yeah, that's some real inside baseball for this podcast. But anyway.
So are you done with your battle line bullshit?
I'm done.
All right, cool. So this week, going back to early Showa.
Yes.
We got ourselves some Rodan.
Yes, this is your first time seeing. I didn't realize you had not seen Rodan.
Yes, first time. Broke the ice. Last night after Dynamite, I put it on. I was just like, all right, cool. Opening credits music might be my favorite music that I've heard in any monster movie.
Yeah. Fugube did a great. Well,
Yes.
I mean, I don't know. All of the scores are fucking great, but this one. Well, actually, this kind of answers the question you asked me in the last podcast, where I couldn't remember if the intro from Varan was originally used in Rodan, and now I know the answer that it was not.
Yeah.
I couldn't really recall.
Well, this music is awesome. If you know these references, Samoa Joe's WWE theme and the Curse Rotted Greatwood boss fight song from Dark Souls 3, if you put them together, it's this, and it's awesome.
Yeah, I didn't really know that when you sent me a message about that. I have not played Dark Souls, but when you sent me like that piece of music, I was like, oh shit, it really is like. And Samoa Joe's theme was inspired by the Godzilla theme.
Yes, yeah.
For people who are not wrestling fans that listen to this. So I actually have a fair amount, like a little bit of background and trivia, more than I thought I was going to. But this is the third kaiju movie from Toho. First one being original Godzilla, Godzilla Raids Again. Now this came out in 1956, 2 years after the original Godzilla movie, and 1 year after Godzilla Raids Again. Not Toho's first color movie, but their first color kaiju movie.
Yes.
I think this is their second color movie though, and though it looks fucking great, it made me like actually, I think the original 54 one should always kind of remain black and white, but it kind of made me go, what if like Godzilla Raids Again was like in color like this? Like,
I'll actually amend that. I wouldn't mind if they made a 54 color version. But for me, like, I would probably just always prefer watching it in black and white.
This really crazy director in Italy made a colorized version of the original Godzilla movie in the 70s that I'm saving as like a really special episode one day for us to do.
Okay.
That's
I'm on board.
Yeah, it's excuse me. So this has the the kind of classic Toho Dream Team. Ishiro Honda directs it. Akira Fukube does the music. Yu Tsuburaya does the special effects. Tomoyo Tanaka produces it. This is the writing debut, I think, for Toho, for Takashi Kimura, who wrote the script for this movie, and he I wouldn't say based it on the movie Them, but like wanted to pace it like Them. Like Them was like a big influence on this movie in terms of pacing, and it was like a deliberate idea that he had to kind of break the movie into two halves, where like the Meganulons are kind of the dominant enemy of the first half. That's the Kamakuras.
No, I know. That's how I view them now.
The Meganulons are the dominant enemy of the first half of the movie, and then the Rodans become the dominant enemy of the second half of the movie. When it was Americanized, so you watched the Japanese version that's on HBO Max, right?
Yes, the Criterion Collection one.
So the American version, which is the one that I've seen more, I did watch the Japanese version for this, but like has like very Blade Runner-esque narration that is like kind of tacked on like the whole way through the movie.
It's like Harrison Ford reading it for the first time.
Yeah, it's I'll come back to that because it's bad. I think it's I shouldn't say it's bad, but I don't think it's like a positive addition outside of the ending, but I'll kind of come back to that. But it also added like stock footage of like nuclear tests at like the beginning of the movie to just kind of give it like that nuclear age feel. That's kind of missing from the Japanese version. Like they just kind of make a reference going like, oh, maybe like hydrogen bomb testing like basically messed up like the area around Mount Aso where like the Rodans were, essentially in suspended animation, but not saying they were like mutated by it. This is also supposed to be with George Takei from Star Trek fame. This is one of his earliest dubbing jobs on the American version.
Oh my!
Yep, he did this, and he also did Godzilla Raids Again. Kenji Sahara, who plays the main character Shigeru, who will go on to be in a million Toho movies. This was like one of his first big starring roles, and he's, as we'll probably cover when we walk through the movie, is that he has amnesia for a good chunk of it.
Yep.
And he was so serious about wanting to get that right. He was studying like patients that had amnesia and wanted to get the mannerisms down exactly. And he got so into it that he would like work himself into fits on set, like trying to kind of get in the mindset of being like an amnesic patient to the point where there are stories that he was like flipping tables out of frustration being amnesic, and that really impressed Ishiro Honda. I didn't get that reference.
I am the table.
Oh, yes. There's also one story that I kind of found very different accounts about. So Haru Nakajima plays one of the Rodans, who also plays Godzilla in pretty much every show and movie. So at some point, there is a scene that is filmed where they have Rodan swing across the set on wires. The wires break, and Haru Nakajima falls. Now, the more popular story that I often found online and that I had heard before was that he fell 20 to 25 feet.
Oh my God.
It's the scene where like Rodan flies over the bridge and the bridge breaks. So the story that's often repeated online is that he fell 20 to 25 feet. And the thing that essentially saved his life is that like they filmed it over like the big pool, the water. And essentially he falls in the water and like the wings also like broke his fall. I have David Collett's very excellent book, which is like a very well-researched, long-standing, highly renowned book about like the history of like Godzilla and other Toho monster movies. He reports the story as, which still sounds not good, is that Haru Nakajima fell from like, a height of like 5-ish feet, maybe a little bit higher, but like didn't fall in the water. He just like fell like on the ground, like but that still would hurt quite a bit.
A bump, kid.
Yeah, either one hurts, but 20 to 25 feet doesn't seem to make a lot of sense to me because that seems really, really high.
It's very high. It's like like Olympic-sized divers like dive in from that height, but like they're professional and they know how to hit the water correctly. Like if you're just hitting the water like chest first, that's gonna kill.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go. I feel more comfortable going with David Collett's account of he probably fell from 5 feet and probably just like hit the ground, which still would probably hurt quite a bit because I'm going to guess the Rodan suit also probably weighed like 150 some odd pounds. And you're crashing to the ground in that thing.
The version I choose to believe is the one I'm making up right now, which was Haru Nakajima put the two gun things to his head like this and then swanton dived off.
He Jeff Hardy'd it the whole way through. There is also Subaraya had blink and you miss it when Rodan is attacking Fukuoka, I think it is in the Japanese version. There is actually they destroy a building of a camera shop is kind of like a misspelled version of Subaraya cameras on. So that was a little
interesting.
Yeah, the Rodans kill him in a way. pretty funny. But so like the last thing I was gonna say for background is again with like the narration that was added to the American version, also like the edits to the American version. The American version moves a little bit faster paced, and they kind of shuffle some scenes around at the end to introduce the second Rodan earlier.
Okay.
And so so in the Japanese version, like Rodan is attacking the city, and then someone just goes, "Oh, a second Rodan's in the area." Whereas in the American version, they take some clips from the ending where like they're bombing the volcano and they re-splice that to make it look like that like they do that earlier in the movie.
Okay.
And then like the second Rodan flies out and they go, "Oh, like that Rodan has a mate." And then like they kind of use some scenes that were of, we'll just say Rodan A in the Japanese version. Like those scenes kind of get spliced in such a way that like it looks like you have the two Rodans like actively fighting jets in the sky, and then they attack the city together. But so that was like a little bit of a cool like little reworking, I thought, although it's like a little clumsily done with that footage. But and then the big thing is with the ending, Japanese version, it's kind of silent as the two Rodans die in the lava. In the American version, the narration, which is actually pretty well done, is like kind of says like, they're overcome by the fumes, or one is overcome by the fumes. The other thinks about flying away, but doesn't want to leave its partner behind. And so it decides to die with its mate. And so that's why like it falls down to the lava. And then actually when like one of the wires broke during the filming of that, which kind of creates some like really like the unnatural movements of like the second prop, like kind of flopping around. And but yeah, so the American version I think actually does the ending better, where it's like it becomes more like one didn't want to leave the other behind, and like you think these like the last two of their species dying out, but hey, one of them will be back in 8 years.
Huh.
So that's the background.
Well, some good backgrounding there. It's just kind of weird. We watched this movie, and have you seen the like that Saints of Newark movie?
No.
Okay, I kind of put it on and half paid attention to it over the weekend. Ray Liotta has a twin.
And
So
is he in the Rodan movie? Is that what this is going? Or?
No, I was just saying, like, he has a twin. Rodan has a twin.
Oh.
Have you ever seen Jean-Claude Van Damme's Double Impact?
Yes.
There's two of them.
Well, in the American version, the line is like when it comes out, it goes, the other has a mate. And it's like so awkwardly stated.
Well, before we get started on what we talked about, we got a message or a tweet from a big ol' spooky dookie boy at Monsters Conquer. And I just want to read what he said. Rodan is a masterpiece, beautiful, down to earth, scary, and tragic. Setting the first act in a small mining town, just like the second act in Resident Evil 4. Makes it real, makes it feel real and relatable, even when huge flesh-eating bugs crash through houses. Rodan himself, themselves, good luck, never looked better and were never scarier than in 56.
There's a lot of things there I agree with. I wouldn't say I agree with everything, but I agree with a lot of it. I guess we'll now find out if we agree with your opinion. Thank you for your tweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I said I'd read anything people had to say. I said I would read it on
What was
the
the
podcast.
you said his name, the spooky dookie thing, but then what's he from?
It was Monsters Conquer.
Monsters Conquer? Is that like a...
That was just their Twitter handle.
Oh, I wonder if that's like a... Well, if that is a podcast or some show or something you have, then I recommend checking that out. And actually, I should probably go check that out.
Yeah. So you made it to the show. Congrats.
See, yeah. If y'all contribute to us, we will happily plug your stuff. So again, Monsters Conquer sounds like something. So I will check it out. Now we're gonna check it out. See, that's how you gain. Yeah, you support us, we'll support you. I got you. We
Cool.
got you. We're your pal.
Yeah.
Friend of the pod now.
Friend of the pod.
Yeah.
Although our last one vanished.
Oh yeah. He's on the milk cart with 7 from Married with Children. Still a friend of the pod, even if you disagree.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyways.
So do you? So yeah, you had not seen it before. So what are your initial thoughts?
Okay, so the first half of the movie is kind of slow and not great.
The Mega Newlands didn't do it for you.
Nah.
Is it because of how much I hate Godzilla X Mega Gearus that you just could not? You're like, oh, this is the beginnings of that movie.
No. Like, I actually didn't think that was a terrible movie. It wasn't great, but it wasn't terrible. But like for this, like I just thought the whole first half I was pretty bored. I just watched Dynamite, so that probably didn't help. I was like thoroughly entertained by that. And so switching to this, I was kind of like,
Yeah. I'm with you on that. Once the Mega Newlands kind of start doing more stuff, I get a little bit more.
It starts to pick up a little bit more on like the 45-minute mark, and I think that's right around when the first Rodan shows up, and that's when I was like, all right, this is cool. I like how Rodan just has like a 747 sound effect.
And it leaves a little jet trail
like,
everywhere it goes.
I don't have a problem with that. I thought it was like, especially considering this was made in 56, like, yeah.
Now, did you like the Mega Newlands at all?
Yeah, it didn't do anything for me. I didn't hate them or anything like that, and I understand that like to keep interest going, you need to have more than just the big monsters at the end. So if you have like other monsters throughout, it sort of paces it better. And so I got that. Like it was fine. I was just like, but I want to see Rodan. Rodan was my Tashi station.
Yeah, gotcha. So I'll agree with the tweet where it's like, I do agree that it was nice to kind of have it be like minors or kind of like the main characters.
Not minors.
instead of like, it being like the scientist and, the detective characters and all that stuff. I thought that was like a nice change of pace. Also, there was like one scene that kind of like bugged me out. Oh God. I didn't even mean to say that in reference to the Mega Newlands.
Oh God.
But like, so the scene where the Mega Newland comes into the main character's house, Shigeru and Kyoko, I think her name was, and like
Oh god, I don't remember any of the characters' names.
And because like a Shiro Honda film, and there's a love story. Of course, there's going to be birds in cages, just like there was in the 1994 Godzilla movie. And I remember like when the Megadula comes in, like it cuts to like a point of view shot of the Megadula, and it like smacks the bird cage like off there, and like I remember going, in the other scenes, they were live birds there, and I'm gonna just really hope. Like, as you can see, there's two green things in that bird cage when it goes flying, and I go, I'm really going to hope there were props in there. But this is 1950s movie making. We're not too far away from when people thought it was just cool to slap some, like, fake spikes and fins on the back of, like, live lizards that are hungry and have them fight each other on film. So I was like, ooh, boy. I don't want to research that because I don't really want to know the answer to that question. But I also loved it when it's like the Megadula and it like grabs like one or two of like the miners, and then it's like you just get this like ridiculous scene of like it's all like in miniature form, like the Megadula prop is just like flopping around like in the mountainside, holding on to like one of the miners. They're just like rolling down the hill, and I was like, that's so like absurd looking. It's almost unsettling.
Yeah. I liked when all the people were trying to like fight the Megadulons in the tunnels and stuff, and I was just like, this looks so terrible. Like I love it, but it was just like,
yeah,
it was just so 19. Like it felt like very like early stages of color cinema, like sci-fi stuff. Like,
yeah,
it did not look great.
I didn't think the Megadula effects were great, but I thought. I don't want to jump too far ahead, but I thought later in the movie. I thought later in the movie though, I was like, wow, these effects look amazing when we get to later in the
movie.
Really?
Some of them were cool.
I guess we're just kind of getting there. I thought like the Rodans and the suits I thought looked really good. The props looked like props, but I was talking about like when like the wind damage to like the buildings and stuff like that. I was like, oh my god,
1000%. Yeah,
this looks great. I actually didn't say this in the background trivia section, but those scenes were like lifted randomly for like some like American produced movie called like Valley of the Dragons, like 6-7 years later, and they were like used as like city destruction scenes. But I was like, I thought the miniature destructions, like I should more say, like I thought those looked great.
Yes, no, I'll agree with you there.
Yeah.
The effects I thought you were talking about were more along the flying effects.
Oh, but that didn't do it for you?
Nah.
No?
That's
no from you?
You could tell it was just like superimposed and it just seemed stiff and rigid. I don't know. It didn't. Not for me, dog.
No, they totally did two things where it's like, yeah, they have Haru Nakajima in the suit for some of the close-up flying stuff, and then they had like props for the other ones. The props didn't bother me. I actually liked like the jet fighting sequences where like Rodan's fighting the jets in the air. Granted, doesn't look great.
One of the things I don't like too is like how much it would like cut from how much like hard cutting you would get during like the attacks. Like a plane would shoot a missile at Rodan and then it would just cut and just shoot two more. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
It just was very jarring and I don't like that.
Yeah, it's very WWE.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. No,
rapid camera cuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like the plane's in different spots in the frame, so you can it's really noticeable. Like it's not smooth at all. Those didn't work.
I think that's like one thing about the early show is I think that's a good point because it's like it's like you feel like they just like kind of filmed those like props like kind of firing missiles and stuff, and then it's like they tried to like conjoin them somehow.
They needed more of those.
Yeah, it's like whereas like they don't have like singular seamless shots. It's like a bunch of like
you get these shots of like the tanks driving around and like spinning around and getting in place and stuff, and I'm just kind of like, this stuff is just like tacked on to like just like a couple seconds of padding here, a couple seconds there. You just fill out the movie. There's probably like 3 minutes worth of that stuff in there.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that.
Like repeat shots and stuff.
The tanks didn't bother me, but yeah,
I'm not saying it bothered me.
I get you on the jets.
It's totally just like the things that like you see it happen over and over again, or they'll mirror the frame and then show it again. I think when the Rodan, one of the Rodans is on the ground, and then there's one flying over, and then they mirror the shot like 10 seconds later. and do it again.
Mm.
And it happens with different things enough times to where I noticed.
Yeah. There's a lot of close-ups of like what I'm gonna guess was like a puppet that was used for Rodan's like wings and upper head. Like there's like a lot of close-ups of like the head. I guess we're gonna call it a puppet, even though I don't really know if it's a puppet for sure. But yeah, like kind of like you said earlier, kind of like superimposed in like the background of like the city.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was something that I feel like with its move to color, really kind of sticks out a little bit more. But
and that's probably what it's a victim of. And I'm not trying to shit on the movie. I give movies made this long ago a pass when it comes to this stuff. So
I actually really liked this movie. I think it's I was like kind of thinking about it. I was like, yes, the movie has to be called Rodan because this is Rodan's movie. But it's like one of those things like, but I think calling it Rodan kind of sets expectations that you're going to get a lot more Rodan, right? I think it like works as like, if it went with if you had a different title and you kind of go, okay, the Meganulon's going to be the enemy for the first half and then the Rodan's going to be the enemy for the second half. Like, I feel like it kind of twist your expectations a little bit, and like when I think of it like that, like it works a lot better for me because I don't know, I like the human conflict with the Meganulons, and then then the Rodans kind of show up and go like, no, we are we are the Final Fantasy final boss that kind of comes out of nowhere after you think you've beaten the main enemy. Here we are, yo.
Yeah. Golbez was actually being controlled by Zermus.
Yeah, that's the Rodans are Zeramus in this movie.
Zeramus, excuse me.
I don't know which of us is, but
well, I just found out through the DS version that it was Young and not Yang.
Oh.
So,
but yeah, the human characters, I guess, like they're kind of whatever.
Yeah, I like I said, this was some of the stuff that just didn't really do it for me. It wasn't bad by any means, and I could follow along, and it was fine. But like, I think after a while, it was one of those things where I was like, all right, I'm just not going to read what they're saying anymore. I'm just going to watch the movie and enjoy it.
I think like it's like I almost kind of feel like there was like an attempt to try to kind of recreate the dynamic between like Ogata and Emiko in the first Godzilla movie, and I feel like that like falls like a little flat because I just feel like they're not as like they're not nearly as like fleshed out. Like they don't really have like the love triangle story going on like Sarazawa. It's like again I'm gonna forget what her name is, but I think it was Kyoki again. But it was like, she's like really kind of like worried like her brother may have like killed these like his coworkers like in the mine, and they find out it's like the Meganulons, and that's like a nice different touch, but it just isn't as well executed as like the original Godzilla movie is with like
absolutely like 1000%, 100% Conrad, 100%.
Like that's a movie with like obviously a timeless monster, but also I think like a pretty iconic like human cast as well, and this kind of lacks that.
One set of human characters I did like was the couple who were there when like Rodan first appears, and like they're like the first victims. No, the ones who get basically get crushed under his wind.
Oh yeah, they're implied to be.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Yeah. Okay, because I thought they said like, oh, it looks like it's a double suicide. It's like, nah, he wasn't the type of guy. And like I was just like, yeah, they got flown over by Rodan. Got flown over by the Rodan.
Yeah, yeah.
But like it was just a really weird shot where like when it's over, they don't show the people. They show the people lying down, but then they just show the girl's shoe just lying there, by itself.
Right. Yeah. This movie does like do like kind of cool, weird things like that. Also, I noticed in that scene too, like the girl falls down and the guy like stays up a little bit longer. Then he's like, "I'm going to start running away," and then he falls over, and I was like, "You asshole!"
Yeah.
I was like, I mean, if you two make it through it, I hope that girl rethinks this decision. But around the same time, I also thought it was a cool scene too, like the first fighter jet that like Rodan destroys, like the one solo one that's like, oh, is this like a plane? He's like trying to follow it, and then like Rodan like blows up the plane. Like the next scene is like the dude's helmet, and it's like splattered with blood. And
Yeah.
I was like, all right, that's pretty good. That's pretty sweet.
But speaking of Rodans, like, yeah, I thought the Rodan designs are cool. Like, I thought Rodan as like the big reveal monster is like, you know, awesome monster, has cool effects that are completely different from every other monster around. I liked it.
So this
This is like once Rodan shows up, I thought this movie picked up, and I really enjoyed like the second half.
what do you think of this Rodan design compared to others?
I still kind of feel like the legendary version's like my favorite.
All right, yeah. It's probably actually the best, but I feel like that one kind of pulls a lot from this one.
Like,
I guess I was more thinking amongst the other Toho designs, I guess.
oh, okay, yeah, sure. Like, I don't know. I thought this design kind of reminds me more of like how Ghidorah looked in the early Showa movies. Like his face in particular,
a little bit more menacing,
Yeah.
cooler.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas like the other ones, it's a little bit more
Gawky.
not gawky. Like he just looks completely different in the '60s movies. You
And
know
not
what I mean?
for the better.
It's
I'm leading you.
it's kind of. I'm not saying it's worse. I'm saying it's kind of like this 56 Rodans, like Kevin Nash Diesel, and the '60s Rodans, kind of like
Fake Diesel.
fake Diesel.
Glenn Jacobs Diesel.
Yeah, that's kind of what it feels like. You know what I mean?
That's kind of how I always felt. I was like, this Rodan is really cool looking. But it was like, why do we get like the dorky looking one in like the 60s?
I don't know. I don't think that design's bad. I don't think there's ever been a bad Rodan design, to be honest with you. But
Yeah.
like, I don't know. I just feel like the legendary one was really cool with like his wings are just like kind of glowing from fire, and he's like pretty much made of molten rock and stuff. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, that's a really good one. I guess what I was basically saying is, why didn't we get more of this Rodan through the show?
Oh, sure. Fair point. You know, just the way it is.
I
Things will
guess,
never
yeah.
be the same.
I guess, this Rodan also, only time, like, we're not going to count, well, you haven't seen Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla from 93, but this Rodan, the only Rodan to randomly have a, not like a ray or a fire breath or incandescent light, as it sometimes is called, but has like a funnel wind breath attack that
Yeah.
randomly gets busted out and is never seen again. Never, ever, ever.
He doesn't need it.
Nope.
I
but it
feel
was-
like the wing flappy thing is like his move. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, I don't get. It's cool, but I'm also like, why did that happen? It's like, it's kind of like we were like talking about like Varan like flying. It's like, why did like those like random like membranes like kind of come out and he just flies in a way that does not make any sense because he like literally.
It does come out of nowhere, and it's completely unnecessary.
Yeah,
But-
it's like I feel like with like the Toho still finding their way like through these movies in the
Sure.
50s, and they're like I don't know, Godzilla had one, so
Yes.
I don't know, he's gonna do something similar.
You know, NECA should get the license back and release a 56 Rodan with the breath.
with a breath attachment.
So you can get it without it, and I can get it with it.
That's so ridiculous that I would probably put it in.
Yeah.
Somebody should make like custom breath attachments for the Playmates Rodan in this movie
Yes,
That,
I would be interested in
that
one.
just came out. Yeah, I mean, maybe you could just make one with like some melted plastic or something like that. I don't know, some crinkly plastic sticking out of the mouth. But yeah, I think this is one of the best Rodan designs. I don't know if it's actually the best, but I just think it's better than.
I've
60s.
seen the Heisei one, and I think it's good. It's fine. I like the '60s one. This one's better than the '60s one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all I really want to get to. Was I don't like the 60s one.
I'm in agreement with you that it's I think this design is really cool.
Yeah. What else is there I wanted to highlight? Oh, this does have one of my favorite kaiju kills of any kaiju movie. The one where Rodan first, not first, but like one of the times where he flies out of Mount Aso, and like there's like the jeep that's like going to like the military jeep that's like going to like notify whatever task that's going on, and like Rodan flies over, and then like the jeep like tumbles over, but they actually put like a little like puppet dude inside, and it rolls over. You see like the legs kind of kicking out, and it smashes against the rock, and I go like that's a toy jeep and a puppet, but it looks so brutal. And it's every time I see it, I go, oh, it's so good. It's so good.
That didn't stick out to me, but yeah, that's
a
hilarious thing.
Go zero into that scene. It's great.
I just mean I didn't think it was going to be something I would talk about. But yeah, you're right.
I guess I'm fucked up.
I feel like I'm the one who fucked up there.
I think that was, looking at kind of like my notes, I think that was kind of, the other big highlight. Well, yeah, let's talk about the ending.
The finish?
Yeah, let's talk about the finish.
Guess I'll just die then?
Yeah.
All right. See ya. I'm going to fly into this lava, and the other one was like, hey, you flew into this lava and died. I'm doing it too. And
in light of the way I described the way the American version handles it, does that change your opinion at all? Or
I actually didn't have a problem. I'm just sort of making fun of it and making jokes, But yeah, the one Rodan is flying over the lava and like kind of just like collapse. I viewed it as like, maybe Rodan took a beating with the planes, and eventually Rodan had to like lay down. It just happened to be in the worst possible occasion of this erupting volcano.
Yeah.
The fumes got to it though. It makes sense. I could understand it.
Yeah. I don't think the Japanese one was directly going for the whole like, well, one can't leave the other. Like, I don't think that was like really the intention of the original Japanese version. I think the American version doing that, I think, is actually a lot better.
Yeah.
And it's like, it actually makes you feel like really bad for them. Because like they're just kind of out of time. They're creatures out of time. Last of their kind, maybe till 1964.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think if I did not know the American ending, I think I would have seen it going like, yeah, it is what it is. The American one going like, oh.
I did just assume that the other Rodan purposely died from watching this one. Like, I was just like, all right, guess you'll die too. All right, yep, makes sense.
I thought it was touching. I liked it.
I felt nothing.
Oh. Okay.
I'm a cold-hearted prick.
Well, hey, they didn't do it for you. They didn't get over with their facials and their
No, it wasn't that. I think they got over with their facials and their work rate. I think it was just a poorly booked finish.
Okay.
Not what I would do. You don't cry at the beginning of the main event,
Well, Jim, I thought it was.
Oh, Jim, you're so right.
I like this one, Jim.
James E. Hetfield. God damn!
So
anyway,
yeah.
Back to what we're talking about. It was a fun sidebar, though.
Oh, actually, I guess we didn't touch on like the big set piece of when they do destroy the city. That was great.
Oh, no, yeah,
that's a highlight.
We did
big
kind
highlight.
We kind of talked about it.
Glossed over it.
Yeah. By far the best part of the movie.
Mm.
Like, that's what I mean. Like, once Rodan shows up, it kind of gets exciting, and these are the effects that I like. The Subaraya stuff, like, it's timeless. It's like 56, and now it is 2021, and it still looks good.
Yeah, that was really impressive. There's like a scene where it's like the shingles go flying off roofs, where it's like just by wind, and I was like, to kind of like design a model like that, to like break apart like that. Like, I mean, that was, I don't know. That's what I kept thinking. And I was like, all right, you're breaking up these models like wind, basically. And they're crumbling like in really convincing ways.
Yeah, they get these like super high powered fans to blow off these things that are like aren't glued down at all, but they're like,
but they fall
they get a little bit of weight to them. You know?
It's like they fall just right.
Yes.
It's like where I think like other movies were just like, they were just probably like flip over and go flying away.
Because I think they got the slowdown time right with this.
With the filming, yeah.
Yeah.
Everything's cranked at like, it's like 1.5 times speed, and then it's like but then they slow that down.
Yeah.
So that's how they give it like the weight and the mass.
Yeah. Makes sense. It looks very convincing. I enjoyed the destruction scene.
Yeah, I thought they all looked great.
I did like the flying under the bridge thing though too.
And he dives in the water.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. Like, maybe we killed him. I was like, yeah, you did.
He's a clever beast, a thinking beast.
So,
maybe that was Haruno Kojima falling from 25 feet, just put to film. I don't know. That's the way the story goes.
But like, this was the part where I kind of didn't like the effects though, with the planes and stuff. I thought they were all like in sync a little too well, and it looked fake.
Yeah, I think they get better with the planes as
Yeah.
the show era goes on. I think that works in the black and white era.
Yeah.
I think it's a little, some of it kind of shows through a little
Like-
bit the color era. But
Like when I'm watching Space Godzilla and it looks like shit, I'm like, you're better than this by now. Like, this is like a huge strike against you.
yeah,
When I'm watching it here, I'm just kind of like, it's not that big of a strike against you because like you clearly spent all your money at the city scene.
yeah, but and I guess they're probably also just kind of like finding their way through this, like
Yeah,
because the next, Varan's black and white. The Mysterians comes after this. And that, I think like even with like going from Rodan to the Mysterians, I think like they really, I think like EG Super Eye really starts to get to handle it and going like, all right, like we're working in color now and stuff like that. Like how do we make these things look? And it's I think by the time you get to like King Kong versus Godzilla, it's like they got it down to a silence. I mean, especially by the time Mothra versus Godzilla comes around.
yeah.
You know, like they got that shit down.
No, totally. And this was like proving that they could do it.
Yeah.
And do it well. But like, it was just like the other stuff that kind of was just not my cup of tea.
Yeah, I get you.
But yeah, that's pretty much.
So it's time to rank, I think.
So I guess I'll go first because it's my first time watching the movie. So boy's choice. I hate doing this because it's a cop-out, but 3 mid-carder for me. It's not that great. Like, I wouldn't call it a masterpiece. You know, this is no Godzilla vs. Kong. I'm just trying to rekindle that flame that burned so brightly back in late April.
Yeah. I mean, well, not really between the two of us, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't have much to say. I liked Rodan and didn't really care for the Megalodons. And people were fine.
Cool.
It was just, I'm glad I saw it. I doubt I'll ever watch it again, to be honest with you.
So I was coming in giving this a 4. And because I was like, this is the birth of like an iconic monster.
Yeah.
One of the big 3 or 4 kaiju from the Toho world.
Yeah, it's not a bad movie.
And literally in the past 15 seconds, I just thought really quick. I said, I'm about to give this a 4. In last episode, I gave the apparently the movie I now have a newfound appreciation for, the Americanized version of Varan. And I'm like, what? When you just said, oh, I'll probably never watch this again. I just said, I'll probably watch this movie again at some point. But I was like, what am I going to want to watch first? The American version of Varan the Unbelievable or Rodan? And all of a sudden I was like, you're going to watch Varan again. And I was like, oh shit. Okay. So Rodan's a 3, but a solid 3. I think it's a very good movie. I think it's, an iconic piece of Toho history.
I agree with everything you're saying.
I do think it's a little flat at points. I think it tries to kind of echo some of the beats of the original Godzilla movie, but kind of does it a little flatly. But at the same time, too, once the Rodans are around, I go like, oh, this is kind of some sweet monster action. You can kind of overlook the rest. And then I just go, oh yeah, Varan the Unbelievable, the westernized version is so like ridiculously. It's the Venom of its time. It's it's
Fuck this guy.
Is no spoilers. Is that's a joke for any of you who've seen them. But so
Get ready to die. That's the attitude. No, I'm talking to you. We're gonna die.
That's like what Varan kind of is. Like it's dumb and funny. For none of the right reasons, but like in Rodan's, it's just good. I think it's just solid. But
yeah, it's a 3. One thing I didn't get to talk about that I remember now is Dr. Sarazawa in this movie in his Clark Kent attire.
Yeah.
So that was nice for that. I need to make a meme of him in his Clark Kent gear, and then
he puts the eye patch on.
The eye patch is his,
no one can recognize who he is.
Yeah, that is exactly what I was getting at. Hey, Slick, you get any figs?
I did. A few.
I didn't.
Oh, good talk.
I did try again. But
what did you try to get? Oh, Gorosaurus?
Bastard. Yeah, I tried to get Gorosaurus at a bunch of places, and I failed.
Oh. I legitimately did not. Was just innocently asking that. I was like, oh, yeah, right.
I was hamming it up. I'm fine.
Okay. Well, I got 3 things. 3 things this week. One is, I also got the NECA Reactor Glow Godzilla. You have it sealed. I got it loose. My loose one came a couple days after we recorded our last episode. I won't say too much about it because, you kind of talked about it quite a bit in the last episode. It's essentially that Godzilla.
He's staying as my boy in the plastic bubble.
Yeah, I wanted it loose. I wanted it loose because I just thought it'd be cool to be loose. But speaking of loose, every joint on that thing's body is loose. I was really kind of surprised. Like, and I know I did buy a loose one, but like from reviews and stuff that I've seen like online, who's Lucy? Well, like from reviews and stuff I've seen online, that this seems to be, for whatever reason, with this one, all the joints are loose, and they are correct. But that said, the glow in the dark stuff like works really well. Yep. Looks really cool.
Yep.
But yes, just know if you get this, all the joints are very loose. But you can still pose it. It's not like the pose is going to fall or anything. It just feels flimsy, which is kind of shocking because the figures that it's like based on are like extremely tight. And so that kind of threw me back a little bit. I also Amazon is like all of a sudden like been stocking some good randoms lately. The snow covered King Kong figure, or Kong Kane, as I think you coined actually.
Yeah.
That's on Amazon, which I haven't bought yet, but I probably will tonight.
Okay.
Because I'm tired of driving to Walmart looking for Godzilla stuff.
Yeah. Walmarts in this area are rough.
Yeah. I mean, that's like a $12 figure, and I think it's on Amazon for like $18 like free shipping. I feel like that's worth my time.
Okay.
But anyway, not what I got. I did finally get the Bandai Movie Monster Series Final Wars Anguirus. I've been meaning to kind of plug that hole in my collection for a while. Definitely my least favorite Anguirus design. Kind of looks like a dog in that movie. I don't love it, but it's a good figure though. Good, great representation of that suit, and one I've been having my eye on. But yep, I guess the main event is.
I like how the main event is not the NECA Reactor Glow figure you got.
No, it's because you got it. Because you got it last week. So
curtain jerking this week.
I'm supplementing.
Burying my figure.
I'm supplementing it. We already talked about it, but I got the. I was able to get the Playmates Gorosaurus and the target close to both of us. I'm sure again you will have this soon because that target does do a very good job of restocking its
Oh
shelves
yeah,
and
like
pegs.
they still have Burning Godzilla and Jet Jaguar.
And Rodan is coming in like on a
Yeah.
regular clip in there,
Yeah.
and this is gonna be there, I'm sure, again, like in the next few weeks. But yeah, for not, so I have it in my hand if you hear me like playing with it, but like, a very underrepresented kaiju, both in the Bandai world and just, I don't know, the other affordable figure world in general. This is general. This is a great, super detailed, well painted Gorosaurus. My only critique is that like his teeth in the front are kind of spaced out and a little like I feel like he could have a couple more teeth in the front of his head. It looks a little funny from the front, but well, I mean, it's not like there's like unpainted teeth or the teeth are painted poorly. It's just I just thought there would be a little bit more. He's got a lot of gum, not a lot of teeth in the front. But other than that, though, it's like this is like an incredible looking and well done figure.
Yeah.
So it's just
I feel like Playmate's first line is the outlier now.
yeah, that's what I was just about to say. I was like, I think this is the confirmation that like good stuff is going to come from Playmates.
That interview from the other year with the guy from Playmates, he was right. Like these newer figures are way better.
Oh, 100%. I think the Rodan figure is great. This is great. Burning Godzilla, despite the weird bikini paint job, as you like to point out.
Yeah, he's Bikini Godzilla. It's fine.
I think Jet Jaguar is great. Like, granted,
Yes.
he's got kind of like Easter pastel colors going on. Like, but I think as a figure, though, it's great.
His big problem for me isn't the color; it's that he can barely stand up straight.
Yes, that's
he's a leaner.
That's like that hits you with like a that's so Playmates, but
yeah.
But then also like so I'm kind of like looking at like your shelf of the Cursed Order in Friends, and it's like Final Wars Gigan over there. Like that's a great figure.
Yes.
I don't love the Godzilla figures from the Godzilla versus Kong line, but like the
Hong Kong Lights one is awesome.
Yeah, the mold overall, I feel like with the legendary Godzilla, like could have been a little bit better, but they're taller figures. The bigger ones, bigger scale ones are great.
Yeah.
Mecha Godzilla is a great figure, both short scale, tall scale.
I was impressed with how good that figure was.
And I think the King Kong figures are great. So it's like then from like that like infamous first wave. Well, I mean, Gigan Final Wars is part of that. That's a sweet figure, but yeah, they're all kind of bad. Outside of I think Godzilla Final Wars from that wave actually like is kind of bad, but also kind of like appeals to me like in a cool, funny way. So, but God, the Destroyer and the Space Godzilla and Shin Godzilla are wretched.
Yes,
wretched. But yeah, I don't know. I think Playmates is between Godzilla versus Kong and like stuff like this being Gorosaurus, like great job.
Yeah,
great job. Won me over. I know,
and that's a vinyl figure, right?
Yeah.
So that interview was 100% right then from last year when the guy from Playmates said like our new designs are going to be way better and they're going to be vinyl figures and you'll see. And we're seeing, he was right.
Yeah, it's I know there was like some leaks of like barcodes or whatever like a year and a half ago that implied like Megalon was coming or
that's cool.
I don't know. I don't know if that holds true. Like, I don't know. Like now, like I'm like really like if you're making like Gorosaurus, like Rodan 56 and Jet Jaguar, I now assume nothing is off limits. We could be getting some of the most random figures from Playmates down the road.
I bet we get a 62 Kong.
Wouldn't that be something?
Yeah.
It's like they're just gonna go, hey, what's all like the rarest like Bandai figures that were made in the 80s that like need like updated figure representation, and that is one of them. That's one of the rarest figures. Oh wait, if we don't get Kong, we get Mechanicon.
Ooh, give me a Mechanicon figure, yes. Sign me up. I want a Doctor. What was it, Doctor Who or Doctor No?
Doctor Who.
Doctor Who.
It was Doctor Who.
I want a Doctor Who figure.
They're like on eBay right now. There's a fairly affordable listing for the original 56 Bandai Rodan figure that has the green stripe down the back, just like the Playmates one does, which as we've now watched this movie, they don't have a green stripe down the back. And I was looking at it and I was like, the Playmates figure actually looks better than this one. And I used to think that was a really cool figure. I mean, it's a cool figure. But I was like, I think the Playmates one might be a little bit better. And I was like, wow, can't believe that I just thought that in my head. I said to myself as I looked at that sticker.
Well, is that all you got?
That's all I got. I'm in negotiations for a rare bad clip piece right now.
Oh,
We'll find out next episode if that works out or not.
what a thrilling conclusion to this segment.
Listen, if I get that, there's only 2 left. 2 left, yeah. Only 2 left.
Well, we'll find out in 2 weeks. But now. OIWF time.
Here we are.
So I'll go first. I briefly recapped my my house show event with the
Coliseum home video exclusive.
Yeah, $60 for that tape. It's there was a staring contest, 1 hour draw. So the feud continues between Burning Godzilla and Neca GMK. So stay tuned for the thrilling conclusion of that blood feud.
Well, can I just add to that really quick? You no sold it in our business chat where I said, hey, the official Godzilla Twitter is calling the OIWF out.
I didn't no sell it. You got me at the wrong time.
Oh well, to kind of put it in context, is that the official Godzilla Twitter?
I did see that.
Put a it's not Kamada-kun, it's Shinagawa-kun, second form, and said staring contest champ undefeated 5 years in a row. And I was like, well, that sounds like a call out right there.
Well, they need to release figures of that form of Shin Godzilla that are attainable, and we'll find out.
I think maybe calling back to one of the... Actually, I take it that one's not Kamada-kun's. Never mind. I retract my current statement.
Yeah, well, they just need to put your money where your mouth is. Official Toho Godzilla Twitter handle. Until then, we all know who the real staring contest champion is.
There you go. That's a feud now. That's all it took. That's a feud now.
But, it's just one of those things where maybe they think they're, just because I'm not there, that the OIWF doesn't count. Well, it counts. It's real.
Shinagawa-kun's
we're real competition.
Shinagawa-kun's working different territories right now. They know where the real staring contest champ is. They wouldn't put that tweet out if they didn't feel threatened.
Right.
And
so, put your money where your mouth is. Make that figure available. We'll find out. But anywho, the Intercontinental title was successfully defended. Hong Kong Lights beat Jet Jaguar. However, the rematch of the century is upon us. Gigan versus Hong Kong Lights Godzilla is challenging for the Intercontinental title.
This is
on free TV.
I think Playmates Gigan is almost kind of synonymous with that title to a degree.
He was, one of the first.
Yeah.
But he was also the second most evil. I mean, Hong Kong Lights Godzilla turned it yellow.
It's I think probably the 2 most important title holders in the history of that title colliding now, it sounds like.
Well, I think Burning can't be understated. I think GMK can't be understated, but in the history of the illustrious history of the Intercontinental title, I mean, Hong Kong Lights is the longest reigning.
Yeah.
But I believe Gigan, or actually no, I think GMK was the most defending champion.
I mean, we're talking about 3 names right here that are on the Mount Rushmore of that title.
Yes. So far.
The ever-growing Mount Rushmore of that title.
But we'll see. We'll see what happens. It's coming up probably after this episode airs,
Hmm.
maybe before. So you might get a new champ. Who knows? I've also been mulling the idea of resurrecting my Mid-Atlantic division.
Oh, we're gonna have rival Mid-Atlantic divisions.
Maybe have a Mid-Pacific division.
Oh, we are marching right towards the brand split.
It's not official, but I mean, come on.
Yeah. Listen, we stepping out of kayfabe, we both have an Anguirus figure, and he's the world champ.
It's true. I do have the world champ in my disposal.
Yeah,
I could do something with that.
yeah. Stepping back,
Just
in
really
kayfabe.
fuck you over with any plans you have. What's a figure you don't have?
Your bootleg Mecha King Ghidorah.
I just give it to one of my Necas.
Well, that would fuck about 6 weeks of booking I have. But anyway, back into the kayfabe zone. Well, that sounds really exciting. What's going
Yeah, it's just just so thrilling.
on? I mean, I don't know. Every time I take these figures out and play with them, I go like, "This is the best thing to do as an almost 40-year-old man."
Yeah, I don't play with them though. I just stick them in positions and take a photo. I don't actually
You don't make a noise or
I
anything?
don't go.
You don't-
I don't make them do like the stinger splash when I have them do the stinger splash. I just kind of make them kiss and then take a photo of
We are not the same, Cass. But anyway, so also in the world title picture, Trimasters Varan running the gauntlet right now, and had a hotly contested match with Trendmaster Union versus Gigan. Was able to overcome that one, but really hit a stern test this week with Trendmasters Universe's Biolante. Just got out of that one by the skin of his teeth. Was able to kind of get the upper hand after just being dominated for an early part of the match. Was able to score a quick roll up win on Biolante. That's now there's only one piece in his way. It is the enforcer of the Trendmaster of the Universe, the bodyguard, if you will, the wind-up Mecha King Ghidorah, because figures that wind up and walk on their own are scarier than stationary figures. And that wind-up Mecha King Ghidorah is not in action a lot, but makes its presence felt. I mean, that's the one that threw Bandai Kamada-kun from the scaffold.
He tried to hurt that man.
He did. And that's, Anguirus's bodyguard right there. Will Varan be able to successfully run the gauntlet? And then will he get his world title shot?
I'm smirking because I'm just booking something in my head that it's just totally gonna screw you over.
Let's hope not. But so we'll see. We'll see how that plays out.
Just know there's a looming threat coming for this.
God, great. Okay. We'll take that to the booking committee offline.
I think you'll laugh.
Okay. But that's the OIWF right there.
All right. What about the tag titles?
Well, both the tag champs are just in singles competition for the past 2 weeks, so I guess they got to kind of lick their wounds a little bit. But they are available for action. As of now, I mean, they got their singles matches out of the way.
Yeah, they need to defend those belts.
Yeah.
Well, we need some new tag champs. I'm sick of this shit.
I think we just booked a compromise.
I'm sick of this shit, Chris. Fucking tag champs having singles matches. Every week, the IK title is defended in some bullshit manner.
Listen, their obligations are tied up. Their dance cards are free.
All right. Well, that does it for
I can bring them over here next time we record.
Trust me, I don't need it. I'm saying this to you, and I'm just I've been ignoring it for weeks. It's one of those being a hypocrite joke type of things.
Oh.
But that'll do it for the OIWF, the bullshit segment. What are we doing next?
Well, we're gonna take a little frolic in the detour, as they say in the legal world, and we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to start exploring Godzilla's time and Godzilla and friends in their time in the Zone Fighter universe, and we're going to be starting with the two-parter Zone Fighter episode where he fought King Ghidorah. This will be good because, like, I mean, I've seen clips of this, but I've never seen the full episodes. So we're both kind of going into some Showa 1970s Godzilla goodness. Pretty much both, not having seen it. So
Cool.
yeah, we're doing like Ultraman adjacent things. Knockoff Ultraman with King Ghidorah, Godzilla, and Gigan for the next few weeks.
Pepsi Ultraman.
Pepsi Ultraman, yeah.
Cool. So stay tuned for that. Well, anything you want to say to the audience before we go?
Nope.
Blackbeard's gold is buried in
Thank you.